My name is Aharown Luke, and this is Aslan's Organics. My wife is Carolyn, and my son is Sage, and this is Mr. Chips.
Aharown, I was here at the farm this season with your CSA, and you know, when I first came, I had that question: what is a CSA?
Community supported agriculture is a model where people who want produce get to purchase it directly from a farm. No middle person, no grocery store. And usually our customers are local, so they're already kind of in the area and they can swing by and have it be like a manageable commitment to get to our farm, pick up produce once a week. A CSA is not a grocery store.
I'm glad to hear that.
A CSA is also not like a wholesaler like Costco. A CSA is not a progressive grocery store like Whole Foods or New Seasons. Those are great venues, but that's not what a CSA is. And also, a CSA is not just like a farmer's produce stand. There's a lot of them around here, like Thompson Farms.
Right.
That's a great model. It's a way you can get produce.
We should go inside, you guys. It's really cold.
But that's not a CSA.
Awesome.
So if a member is a part of the CSA, then they'll get a consistent share of each of these crops over the summer.
Okay, and what do we have here?
So
what goodies are we gonna get?
So I'll just read it.
All right.
So we're gonna have a couple plantings of lettuce, a few varieties, just so that throughout we do 10 weeks. Just keep it short and sweet for
okay.
For the Aslan's Organics this year. We might expand it next year, but and then cauliflower, broccoli, kale, Brussels sprouts. Those are brassicas. So we'll have a couple planting of those throughout the 10 weeks, and then we'll have a storage onion and a sweet onion. So we'll have a Walla Walla, and then we'll have like a Talon that will store. Our onions are still storing perfectly at 40 degrees. All right. Let's see if this thing holds water.
Well, this year we bred 2 of our mini Nubian does. So we had 5 goat kids, and we were able to sell those kids to a couple of local homesteaders so that they would be able to produce milk for their family, milk to sell, and so that they could breed registered mini Nubians for profit for their homesteads. So that was the first year that I've been able to sort of help other people develop their farms as well through our breeding programs.
And the chickens?
The chickens, we have, this was our first year breeding our Buff Orpingtons. So we hatched out a clutch of chicks in April, and we hatched out some of them in Sage's room in an incubator, and some with a mommy hen.
Right over here.
In our brooder box.
Yeah.
And the mommy hen did a good job, didn't she?
Yeah, she did
Mommy hen did better than the incubator.
Yeah, only like a few every day, like one tweet and woke me right up.
Yeah, so we were able to breed our own chickens rather than being reliant on the hatchery systems and having them shipped and all of that. So also this year we were able to sell milk through a 10-week CSA share. We had a couple of customers that either added it on to their produce CSA or purchased it separately. And that seemed to be a popular product as well.
So, with the CSA aspect, I was wondering what is the value of this. I mean, you have a store, you have farmers markets. I have my own garden. And in fact, my garden didn't do too bad. But I still wanted to try this because, like I told Aharown, it's like, I'm not going to grow everything that you're going to grow. Not everything I grow is going to be successful, and certainly that was the case. I did grow crookneck squash. It turned out to be about that big. But at Aharown here, actually, the farm, I'm going to start referring it to the farm, because it wasn't just Aharown. It's Sage and Carolyn, and you had some helpers as
volunteers.
well. Yeah, volunteers. And, the crookneck squash was just wonderful. And that isn't the only thing that was wonderful. Wow.
Cool.
That's one of the things I'll say, because I asked before we started, I said, well, how much food do you think we'll get? He said it was a family of 4 for a week, as I remember. Now, of course, it's my wife and I, so we're only 2. So not only did we have enough for a family of 4, because we used it ourselves, we shared with our elderly neighbor next door. We shared with some tenants of ours.
All right, so you mentioned that you like onions. We have about 200 feet of onions. These ones in the front we just healed in. We'll probably use them for spring onions. And then everything else is spaced so it can bulb up without having to thin it. I don't like thinning.
There you go.
These are another 200 feet of potatoes. This is a red and a white potato. And then this is like 100 feet of carrots. We're just gonna wait till they're big enough to thin out and not have to waste them. We'll just give you a bunch of small carrots. And beans, and then peas at the end down there. This is 4 rows of popcorn.
Oh, wow.
So we side dressed with the fertilizer just last week. If you don't get the nitrogen on them right now, they don't metabolize it at the end. So they put it in their stock, and then when they're big enough, they stop pulling nitrogen out. They only use the nitrogen in the stock to finish out their life. And then just today we planted some cabbage at the end of this row. And this is Sage's garden right here. He's got some broccoli coming along. About the winter squash, we had a friend who was in our community garden last year. And we just gave him a lot of space. And the squash grew into like 10 feet of space. So we decided to give it a lot of space, and we have a winter squash on the right and summer squash on the left. All right, so we're already planning out next year, and we do have kind of a 5 to retirement plan for the farm. Carolyn, what's your immediate thoughts on 2018?
I'm hoping to breed our Nubians again, so we should have milk available for sale and for our own consumption, and we should also have kids available in the spring to sell again. And that's a good income stream for our farm that helps subsidize some of the other things we're doing. So we are looking at doing that again this year. And we may or may not hatch out some chicks for the spring. We do have already a flock of about 20. So it sort of depends on if we want to replace some of our older hens or not, whether or not we get a breeding program going for the chickens this year. And we always think about adding honeybees to the farm. So that could be a potential addition to the farm next year as well. And we do have some barn kittens.
sometimes can't.
Yeah, it is. You can't see it when it's in the husk. You always think that it's black. Oh man, you can't really tell.
What's wrong with that one?
It's white, but it looks kind of small.
Oh, it's good.
Sometimes it goes down that way.
Can you just toss it over?
Yeah. Or you like put it in a bowl. The vine has to be dead, kind of dead or really dead.
And then you know it's ready to dig?
Yeah. But actually, do you know what?
What?
Also, butterflies pollinate, but they don't make honey.
Oh, they,
Yeah, they
That's
just
bees.
zigzags for flower pollinating.
Okay. This one is Dakota Black from Uprising Organics. And this one's called Amish Butter. Where do we get Amish butter from?
Uprising Organic.
Oh, also Uprising.
So I think these are walnuts. Sometimes you can tell it's a walnut.
it's not good.
Yeah, the walnuts are the best.
It's a good deal. There's a sliding scale, and we make sure people make it worthwhile coming out. People get free flowers they can pick. If there's extra stuff that week, we usually let them know what they can go out in the field and harvest themselves if they'd like. And at the very beginning, we usually ask people if they have a favorite seed that we could plant for them.